everybody. Thanks so much for joining. Got some updates on the high resolution models. Usually don't do this tonight, but this is important. So I want to share it along with everybody as quick as I can. So let's go ahead and we will take a look at the high resolution models that have just came out. And I'll also try to explain a little bit of stuff. So let's back it on up here. Thankfully, we got our high resolution models in. That's what we've been waiting for a while. Thanks, Miss Pam, for watching. Just saw you pop up. The chat's actually working correctly. I can't believe it. So let's go through this. This is the morning round of storms. Let's take a look at the timing there. That is showing to be around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. for that round in northwest Alabama. Looks like it continues to move on to the east, gets along I-65, and a pretty nasty little line, too. Looks like it gets around I-65. And also the way it leans, this thing is leaning in a southwest to northeasterly direction. So it looks like it's going to move, it'll be clipping the northern tip of Marshall County and also Jackson County and even some in DeKalb County by that time as well. That'll be around 5 a.m. So we'll say 5 a.m. And now the high resolution model is showing it actually making it over here. Some heavy stuff in the area there. Some of that could be severe. That right there is at 7 o'clock. We'll move it on forward. It lifts to the north, as I was discussing. The earlier models did not think we was going to get anything, but now it's thinking we will. But keep in mind, we're still kind of early. We'll need to update again later on as we get closer to the morning hours. But right now, that's what we've got. There's the high-resolution models. We'll move it on and take a look at this. Now, here is the supercells that we're going to watch. This is around 2 here. It looks like this is around 1 o'clock along I-65 into the west. So that's around 1 o'clock. Models are trying to speed it up a little bit compared to what it was. So around 1 o'clock, we get these discrete line of supercells popping up out ahead of the main line. These will be the ones that we have to watch. These could produce tornadoes. They could be long track. They could touch down on one end of the state, stay on the ground all the way till they move out of Alabama and possibly into another state. Like that's what we're looking at with these. Some nasty stuff. Looks like it gets, starts to break up just a bit. These individual supercells that are separate, that's the ones that we're going to have to watch. The ones that are separate by themselves. They've got all that energy to work with by themselves. That's kind of what we're talking about, the left and right movers. They start kind of breaking up a little bit, and one moves left and one moves right. The right movers are the ones we're going to watch. Those right-moving supercells are the ones that can produce long-track tornadoes, destructive winds, and also large hail. So we'll keep an eye on those. Let's move it forward a little bit more. Looks like they fully get into our area here in DeKalb County, seeing some of that, Marshall County, Jackson, fully in here by new models showing between 3 o'clock, and that's where a model runs in. And keep in mind, look at all the stuff behind it. Usually what happens is you get this big line of supercells out ahead of the main line, which that's the cold front there and low pressure system right over Mississippi, just entering northwest Alabama. Could be some embedded tornadoes with that one too as it moves through. So this is going to be a long day as we get these supercells ahead of the line and also the supercells along the line. But the ones ahead of the line are the ones we need to watch. Still, won't rule out some tornadoes with the main line either, but these supercells that are able to get by themselves are the ones we're going to watch. Keep a very close eye on. So let's move on and we will look at the timing. I do have a little chart that I put up. And let's take a look at that timing. It says Friday night. That's not the right one. Let me see here. What did I do with it? It's one of those deals I had it up and now I don't see it anymore. Let's see. That's not it. I don't know what the chat did, but for some reason I think it got rid of my information I had up. So let me see if I can put it back up here. Bear with me. I'll try to get those back up. Don't know why it did that. And we'll also take a look at radar here in just a minute. Hearing of lots of damage. I believe it was out of Arkansas. Could be wrong. Kansas, Arkansas area somewhere. Okay, there's round 2. That's what I was looking for. So don't mind me. I'm going to have to, move these around a little bit. Okay, so let me get that one off. We'll get with round one here. Okay, so here's round one. Now it looks like it moves in again somewhere between 3 a.m. 2 to 3 a.m. for Northwest Alabama. Looks like it moves on into Northeast Alabama somewhere between 5 and 6, maybe 7 a.m. Again, this is going to need to be adjusted because these models keep changing. Their opinions keep on changing regarding the timing, so we're going to have to adjust those all throughout until we pretty much get into the morning hours, and then they'll be very accurate. But these are really accurate models, so you bank on it. It's going to be somewhere between that time frame, maybe give or take an hour. We'll look at round two. Looks like it moves in anywhere between 1 and 2 p.m. for northwestern Alabama and 3 to 4. Again, may have to give or take some time there, but that's an estimated time frame between for northeast Alabama, 3 to 4 o'clock. And 1 to 2 p.m. for Northwest Alabama. But the models are trying to speed the line up a little bit compared to what it was earlier. So that's what I wanted to share with everybody. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll get ready to end the stream, and we'll also take some comments. I just wanted to let everybody know that's the newest stuff that just come out from the high-resolution models. And I wish I did know of some pet-friendly shelters. If anyone knows of any, let me know. Hello everybody, thanks for watching again. Just reading everybody's comments. I will give some information out about round one. There's a possibility we'll go after 6, shelter with those. They was looking pretty nasty there, the newest update. So, with round one, there's a possibility of some tornadoes, damaging winds, hail, all that good stuff. But, the models are still adjusting. So, we'll know more. I'll update again in a few hours. I imagine they'll look completely different than what they do now. That's the only thing that sucks about the models. They change every few hours. So, we're still a little ways out. But that gives everybody an idea because that's going to be very accurate timeline, give or take. So, okay, the section storm shelter is pet friendly, Pam. Where's that located at? Keep the chat up here and we'll talk just a little bit longer, get some information up, but also got to do this as I actually forgotten about it. Shout out to my sponsors there, Mr. Dylan Snyder at Alabama Living Real Estate. You can give him a call at 256-979-4330 for all your real estate needs. And also we have another sponsor. It's going to be RKG Automotive Group. You can give them a call at 256-572-6586 for all your needs there. If you like a vehicle, go check them out on Facebook as well. All right, so let's look at the comments. West Memphis, Tennessee. Now let me look at that. I have not took a look at it yet. Bear with me. I will pull those models up. So the computer models right now show western, if you're in the far western portion of Tennessee, and I'm making sure that this is updated. Okay. It is updated. If you're in the far western portion of Tennessee, you're in a slight risk. That's the far northwest portion of Tennessee. Let me correct that. Far northwest portion of Tennessee, you are under a slight risk, which I'm still. Let me check something one more time. I got a feeling there's something up with that model because I could have swore I saw something different. I just want to double check. I swear I saw something. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, I hate these models sometimes. Okay. So we're getting ready to go into Saturday. Okay, so let me switch everybody around here. I know sometimes you guys just have to bear with me. I get ready to wrap it up, and then, I end up finding something else I want to share with everybody. So that wasn't supposed to come up. This streaming software has been a real pain lately. Okay, let's try this again. Maybe it'll work right. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay, so let's take a look at the Storm Prediction Center's outlook, and I'll kind of go over it with everybody. That way, you got a little bit of an idea what's going on here. So we'll move the models up, or actually, no, we need to leave them right where they're at. I had them adjusted right. Okay, so for today, Saturday, March 15th, there is a high risk in place for anywhere from Birmingham, very close to Gadsden. But again, do not get confused with these colors, okay? A lot of people get mixed up in these colors, and they're like, oh, well, it's not going to do nothing in my area, or they just don't know what they mean. I'll tell you what they mean, but don't get confused by the colors, okay? These are more or less for those that are experienced, that know what they're looking at. Not knocking anybody, just being honest with you. These colors can really mess a person up. So let's pull this outlook up, make sure you guys can see it correctly. This is the outlook so far. It'll change again. I'm kind of thinking that it will depend on a lot. If they think we're going to get some heavy storms in northeast Alabama this morning, which the models are now in favor for that, a little bit, then they may not extend that high risk further northeast. But if we don't, let's say we don't, there is a possibility that high risk there could expand out a bit. But it really doesn't matter. I mean, these models are maxed out. It don't matter if it expands it or not. The whole state of Alabama, no matter where you're at, if you're in North Alabama, if you're in Central Alabama, if you're in Southern Alabama, it don't really matter. You've got a threat of some strong tornadoes. The whole state can see strong tornadoes. But this area in the pink is circled because they've got just a bit more confidence there that they could see, destructive tornadoes. Just a little bit more confidence than everywhere else. But in the red, we don't see that. That's a level 4. Level 5 is as high as it goes. We've got level 5 here, anywhere from Tuscaloosa, Birmingham. They're in a level 5. Talladega, level 5, maxed out. That's as high as it goes. There's only been 2 other events in the history of Alabama where we've had high risk like this put up. This is the third one. So this will make number 3 in a second day outlook. So this is rare, really rare for us to be seeing this. So also the rest of the state, level 4 moderate risk, excluding the far northwestern tip, but it doesn't really make a difference. If you're in Alabama, you need to be weather aware at all times. These are going to be very fast moving, several rounds of it. It's going to be just absolutely insane when it gets here. Like, really, it's going to be crazy to keep up with all those cells and know what they're doing. One of the meteorologists a little while ago said he was having trouble tracking these storms because there was so many tornado warnings that he could not track all of them at one time. So he was having to focus on the ones with PDS signature, particularly dangerous situation, tornado already on the ground. That was the ones he was focusing on because there were so many warnings. So if we get that in place, it's going to be very hard to track every one of them. So, it's going to take a big joint effort from a lot of meteorologists, tracking these things. It's going to take a lot of time, to do it. So that's why I'm saying, make sure you're at your safe place before these things even get here, because once they get here, it's on. They're going to be here. So that's our outlook for today. Let's back it back up and we'll look at our tornado threat. As you can see, you don't see that very often up here. And I was going to mention, if you're in far northwestern Tennessee, you do have a threat of severe weather. Slight risk, far northwestern and western portions of Tennessee. If you're in central Tennessee, you have a decent threat, 10 to 14%. Slight risk of tornadoes up there, hatched risk. You need to be weather aware if you're anywhere in Tennessee, okay? It's not quite as bad as what we've got, but it's still bad enough And all it takes is one tornado. That's all it takes. So if you're in Tennessee, be weather aware. Western Tennessee, Central, Eastern, doesn't really matter. If you're in Tennessee, be weather aware. For our area, though, pretty much it's maxed out as bad as it can get. There is a high risk, goodness gracious, that is just crazy. Yeah, 30 to like 40%, like high, that's really high risk. Of course, the tornado risk can go up just a little bit more, and hopefully it don't. But this is a high risk. It's high, pretty much at the top of the charts, as high as it can go, just about. Anywhere from Birmingham to Tuscaloosa to Talladega, and then Decatur, Huntsville, Gadsden areas, Auburn, Greenville, Troy, Mobile. Of course, DeKalb, Jackson, Marshall County in that hatched risk. The whole state of Alabama in a hatched risk. When you see these dots, these dashes, that's when things go up a lot. So basically, it's like trying to explain it. It's like these dashes right here are like taking fire. Okay, we've got fire already and adding gas to it. That's pretty much what these dashes are representing. It's saying, hey, be weather aware. There's a lot of strong energy in place. There's a lot of fuel in place. These supercells are going to be abnormally strong. So that's pretty much what these dashes are saying. Hey, this is going to be bad. That's what these dashes pretty much indicate. So when they put them out, they call it a hatched risk, and you don't see that a lot, especially with the high risk. Now let's look at the damaging winds. No matter where you're at in Alabama, you're in that hatched risk, excluding the southwest portions of Alabama around Mobile. They're out of the hatched risk, but they still have a level 4 risk of some damaging winds anywhere between 60 to 75 miles per hour. Let's look at the hail outlook. The best threat of large hail, which does come into Marshall County, and I believe the new models are getting ready to come out here at 2 o'clock. So we'll be paying attention to these new Storm Prediction Center models. I think around 1 or 2 o'clock the new model outlooks come out. We'll update on those, which is pretty much these right here. These update around 2 o'clock. We'll get a better idea of what to do. But right now, looking like best threat of hail, pretty much the whole state. Hatched risk. Some of the larger stuff, though, along I-65, slightly east, does come into Marshall County a bit. Anywhere from Dothan, Alabama, Troy, Greenville, Montgomery, Mobile, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Decatur, Florence, Huntsville, and even DeKalb, Jackson, Marshall counties have a chance to see some large hail as well. So hope that explains it with everybody. I really do. We'll get ready for the next models to come in again around 2 o'clock. So sometimes it takes those guys around 3 a.m. to actually get all that updated. So it takes them just a little while. And let's look at the new comments I've got here, and I apologize if I didn't see everybody, because the way this chat does is it auto updates, and sometimes I can't go back and look. But I do see an important comment from Jasmine here. ARAP Veterinary Hospital shared a post. People can go to the Facebook page and read more info on it. For pet-friendly shelter, it's a first-come, first-serve search. Let's see. Okay, Jasmine, could you message the page and send that to us? I would greatly appreciate it. It would help us out a lot. Mr. Gilbert, watching from Whiten, Alabama. Thanks for watching there, Gilbert. I think I talked to you yesterday. I did, at the store. Good to see you. Glad to hear from you there. Thanks for watching. And yeah, Heather, it may be one of those days you just, hey, I'd rather stay at a shelter all day than end up in all this mess. And I hate to be that way. Also keeping an eye on stuff to see if a tornado watch is issued up for this morning too. We'll look at the Doppler radar right quick. I mean, every time I get ready to, get off of here, I end up figuring something out that I missed. So let's move to the radar. We'll take a look at it and pull all that up. And hopefully I don't have a problem with it. Okay, I believe we're loading up. Okay. We are in fact loading up. Okay, so cells like this, that doesn't look good. That is out in Mississippi, and look how close it is to Alabama already. That's one of the discrete supercells ahead of the line there, and it's moving northeast. Um, at that track, it would take it into northwest Alabama, within the next few hours. Of course, that thing's 120 miles away from northwest Alabama. But that storm, that storm looks like it's got a tornado on it. Possibly on the ground. Let me get a better view of it here about this Doppler radar. Let's take a look. Okay, and this is in Mississippi. It's tracking to the northeast near Duck Hill and Granda, and I believe, yes, we do have spotters confirming, tornado damage with this. These are going to be some nasty stuff, and they've not even moved into the best favorable environment yet. Of course, this is a pretty decent environment they're in right now in Mississippi, but not like what it is over here in Alabama tomorrow. They got a lot more to work with. So let's look at this and see if we can see anything really quick. Absolutely, more than likely, 99% sure. Yes, there's a tornado on the ground with that one. Get the correlation up. Oh, it's so noisy, it is very hard to tell if there's any debris in that, but let me see if I can shoot from a different radar angle. It's just way too noisy. I can't even see what I'm looking for with it. But by the radar shot I just saw, it's definitely got a tornado on the ground with it. Okay. Alright, that looks like debris being up aloft to me, but let me get another scan angle if I can. Let's try scanning it from the south, looking north into it. It's a little bit far out on the beam there. It's not going to work. It's too far out. So we really ain't got a lot to work with here. So that means let's use some different tools here. Okay, so based on the knowledge that I have of radar, it's a good bit. It was on the ground at one point, and it's still showing some insane signatures right here on this, so I would not be surprised if it's not on the ground again. And it will be moving toward, let me get this radar off of here, moving to the northeast, kind of northeast toward Grenada there, Mississippi. North Carrollton also needs to be watching that. And yeah, I've got a signature here that looks like it's on the ground, honestly. I'm surprised we're not seeing spotter reports, because we do have a few storm spotters here chasing this, or storm chasers, and people don't realize how important we are. I mean, look, these guys are right on this dang thing. They're a little bit too close, in my opinion. They actually just got very close to the main center of rotation. That's not an area that you want to be in. You don't want to be that close to it. These guys have got some guts, but yeah, these guys here look like they're getting ready to position. They are. They're getting ready to position, and it looks like they've stopped. These guys here look like they're using their head a bit more. They're letting it track to the northeast, and you see, if you're a storm chaser and you're chasing this thing, this guy here has got, he's got a lot of a lot of rainfall right now. He's actually getting the northern part of it. The northern part, lots of rain, probably some wind, but he's holding off his position. I would want to be a little bit further south, like this guy here, because the main center of rotation is passing to the north. You always want to stay south of these things. You never want to be north of them and get in the way of the rotation. You always want to be south of these storms. When you're chasing, you don't want to be north. And yeah, these guys, I give them credit. They're in a pretty good position right now. But these guys here, I don't know what they're thinking. So, begin to wonder if that's not Reed Timmer's chase team there. They're the only ones. Oh my gosh, I know who that is. I'm almost certain I know who that is. I'm friends with him, and yeah, this seems typically like something he would do. Get really close to it, so I'm not surprised. But they did report a tornado, so Storm Chaser reported a tornado with this thing. Nasty looking little supercell, lots of hail. Nice updraft as well. Looks like it may be trying to intensify again. Just a really nice supercell overall. And we'll try a correlation scan again. I mean, this thing looks like it's on the ground again, in my opinion. Okay. Again, this is not for us. This is in Mississippi. I'm just kind of, checking it out and seeing how well my training is. I guess what you would say, freshening up for tomorrow. I'm going to scan it from another radar using a completely different radar. Oh God, I hope that didn't come on stream. Okay. Let's look at the comments here. Well, me personally, and not everybody has to, believe the way I do, but I read the Bible a lot, and the way I believe, and the way that I, studied the Bible a long time, Sabbath is on Friday night and Saturday. So that's what I do. I usually don't ever come on here. When I'm on here, there's bad weather, or I wouldn't be. Sarah Tinsley sent a picture in of our boy watching your YouTube live. He hasn't moved a bit, sitting there feeding his big. Oh, that's so sweet. I appreciate that. That's the sweetest thing. I really, really appreciate that. Alright, so I'm going to move on out here and see if I can't get a better angle on this supercell here. I'm still trying to figure Radar Omega out. It's so different from Radar Scope, but it's got so much more in-depth information. You can actually click on these storm chasers. Like if I wasn't live, I could click on these storm chasers right now and view their live camera on their cars and see what this thing is doing. But unfortunately, you cannot broadcast without their permission, so that kind of sucks. But I understand. Not everybody is okay because they make money off of this footage, and if someone steals it from them and the news gets a hold of it before, it can be very bad. You can get some serious copyright problems with that and end up in a lawsuit, and it's just not worth it. And this thing does not even have correlation coefficient on it. Yeah, I'm going to switch back to radar scope. I like it a lot better. Okay, so something I am noticing. Let me point this out to you. You might find this pretty interesting, but this storm is trying to wrap back up again and produce another tornado. We have a big time inflow going up into this thing. Like that's air jetting up. It's pulling air up into the updraft. Here's your rear flank downdraft area. Everything is wrapping around right here. So that thing is trying to produce a tornado. Another one. It's starting to get that tail on it. I'm seeing a lot more lightning inflow. Not quite as impressive as it was, but I'm seeing it try to wrap around again. That's what's got my concern at the moment. So right in here, that's exactly where your downdraft area is because you got all this hail right here. Right there is going to be your downdraft area. That's I guess that's what they would call the bear's cage. You don't want to be in that area. Lots of hail. Pretty useless. You can't see anything. If a tornado was coming, you wouldn't see it. And yes, we have a very strong signature on radar now, showing up very close to North Carrollton. Let me switch to a little bit more in-depth color here, see if I can't get an HD view of this, because this should bring up a little bit better. Yep, it did bring up a lot better HD view. So this thing is trying to intensify again. I do see, you know, a very decent inflow tail with this thing, and it is trying to get its act back together again. It's going right toward Grenada, Mississippi, and Duck Hill. I wouldn't want to be in any one of those areas unless I was in a shelter with these storms, of course, especially Duck Hill there, because Grenada is to the north of this cell. And unless it just starts moving due north, you know, they should be okay. But Duck Hill, not so much. Y'all are going to be closer to the southern side of it. But it looks like it's tracking northeast. So either way, in either one of these scenarios, I wouldn't want to be there. You know, I'd want to be south, very well south of it. And this storm chaser here, excellent job where he deployed at. That was a perfect spot to stop and track this thing. Okay, we have a tornado on the ground. I can see the signature now. Tornado on the ground with this one. See if I can't get a scan on it now. Okay, I'm pretty sure I've seen a debris signature right there. Almost certain. So there is a tornado on the ground. I'm very sure of it. Looks like it's just to the northwest of North Carrollton, moving off to the northeast toward Duck Hill. Duck Hill, definitely, they're there. They need to be in their shelter. They are under a tornado warning, as well as Grenada. Oops, my radar went down. Bear with me, everybody. Radar went down on me. Okay, I get a little carried away, so don't want to hold everybody up. I get a little carried away with it sometimes. I apologize. Anyway, 1 p.m., I wouldn't go to Gadsden around 1 o'clock. No, that's when the secondary line is supposed to start coming in. So if you got plans around that time, I wouldn't go. Just to be truthful. All right, everybody, thanks so much. I'm going to get off of here. I got a little carried away, and I've got the wrong graphic up, too. Gotta love it. Let's try to change that. All right, God bless everybody. Have a great night, and we'll update here again in the next few hours. Take care. Have a great night. Thanks again, everybody. Thanks, Mr. Gilbert. I appreciate that. It's pretty interesting.